Welcome to NHL Front and Center Ice presented by Run Pure Sports. Little change of scenery today. I'm going to be your host, Nate Defy. I'll give you my takes as well, but I am joined as always by my counterpart, Matty Ice. How we doing, man?
What's going on, boys? Let's find some winners.
Find some winners is right. Nice little tasty 9-game slate. And the best guy joining us today, Tanner, as always. Tanner, how we doing, man?
Not too bad. Happy to be back after missing Saturday's show. Yeah, like Matty said, ready to pick some winners.
Yeah, well, we know where you're gonna go in one of the games on the slate, wearing that yellow tank top there. But we'll get to that later. First game I got on the slate today is the Chicago Blackhawks heading into Montreal to face the Canadiens. Jake Allen, RPS legend, slated to be in that Montreal minus 145 favorites. Implied team total of about 3.5 goals. Should be an interesting game here. Battle of two teams that are pretty below average. Usually bodes pretty well for scoring here. Matty, what do you think about this game here?
Yeah, I actually kind of like this one. Usually when you get two turds, you end up with a diamond. So I do side with Montreal here. I think a lot of people are going to end up going to the Kirby Dach line with Hoffman. Just for a little bit of, I wrote that up in the playbook as well, those two guys. A little bit of revenge then with Kirby Dach going, against his old squad. But I actually prefer the top line here of Nick Suzuki, Josh Anderson, and Raphael Harvey Pinard. Pinard's been absolutely phenomenal since he got the call up. He did get the bump to the top power play as well. The kid just skates hard. He kind of reminds me of Cole Caulfield a little bit. He's just flying around out there. Every single shift. He's incredibly cheap yet. On DraftKings, I believe he's only $3,600. So to get a guy who's getting top 6 minutes and top power play run in a plus matchup, you can't go wrong there. On the Chicago side, it's your usual suspects. Like I said, I prefer Montreal here quite a bit, but Patrick Kane's $5,600. He's cheap. Max Domi's cheap. Taylor Radish. You could take shots on those guys. I just trust the goaltending on the Montreal side more than I do with Montreal. So I'm going to be on the Montreal side there. I like that top line. I don't know if I go crazy and stack all three, but something like Nick Suzuki and Pinard, like a little mini. One other guy I would be remiss not to mention is Mike Matheson. He's $4,500. He's seeing 22 to 25 minutes, top power play run. He's getting penalty kill run. He's kind of the do-it-all defenseman right now for them. I like him at $4,500 tonight as well.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'll give you my takes here as well. I'll kind of pull double duty here, give some DFS takes and try and host at the same time here. But yeah, I'm in lockstep with you. I think Chicago gets rolled pretty easily here by Montreal, which is crazy to say. But looking at the numbers last five, Montreal is the worst team in the league in expected goals against. So it's not just good puck luck, bad puck luck going on right now in their actual last five numbers. I typically like to kind of gut check that a little bit. And Chicago they're just bad. They're allowing the fourth most shots per game. Expected goals is the worst on the slate. They have a decent penalty kill, but I think the goals are going to come here from full strength for Montreal. And you nailed it. That top line for Montreal is definitely my go-to line here in this game. Mike Hoffman, Pinard there. And then Nick Suzuki's been great all year long. He went through a little lull there when Caulfield went out, and the team overall did, right? You lose a guy like Cole Caulfield, and it doesn't bode very well for your team. He's just an incredible hockey player there, nice young talent. But Suzuki is picking it up here, averaging right around 15 DraftKings points in his last five. He's sitting at $5,500, very cheap price tag there. He's on that top power play as well. And Matheson, Matheson, this dude just fires the puck. He's very good scoring defensive man. He's going to run point on that top power play as well. So I like that quite a bit. The Blackhawks side, Patrick Kane, $5,600. His talent, we all know what his talent is. We've seen him for years. I don't know. I think he's trying to play his way out of Chicago. I would be if I was Patrick Kane. But we'll see what happens there. Trade deadline quickly approaching here. And then Seth Jones. $6,100 for Seth Jones. He can always score. Our guy Matty there called his anytime a couple shows ago. Hopefully you guys tailed that. That was some good payout there. But I don't love him here. I like some other D-men. better at that 6K, 6,200 price range. So not too much interest there. Kick it over to you, Tanner. Do you see the money line is you're laying a little bit of juice there, grabbing the 145 money line for Montreal. Thinking puck line over under. What do you got here for the bet?
A little combination. Excuse me, a little combination of both. Like you said, like Matty was saying, usually when you get two shit teams together, you get a dime, and you usually get some goals out of this one. So if you parlay that Canadiens money line with the over 5.5 goals, you get plus 165 on DraftKings. I think we see 5.5 goals here pretty easy. Like you said, it's two crappy teams. They don't like to play defense. They're both in the bottom third of the league as far as goals against and stuff like that. So I definitely think we got some here. I do like that Harvey Pinard play. He's been scoring like crazy. Looking back, anytime the games tend to shoot, he tends to score. And on FanDuel, he's plus 320 as a goal scorer. I think you definitely have to take a stab at that for a guy who's playing this well. Like you said, almost Cole Caulfield reminiscent is the way he just flies around out there. So I do like that a lot. Again, Mike Hoffman is plus 205 as a goal scorer. He shoots it an absurd amount of time. So, I mean, goaltending I give to the Canadiens here. So for Chicago, it's definitely a weak spot for them. So how much he shoots, I think he can sneak one in. And just sticking with the Montreal side here, you mentioned Michael Matheson. He shoots it a ton. He's plus money to record over 2.5 shots. He's plus 110 on that. So I think you can take a stab at any one of those guys. But my favorite play on that is definitely that little parlay on DraftKings with the Canadiens and the over 5.5. Plus 165 on that. I really like that. I think the Canadiens just hand it to them tonight, which is a rare thing to say, but it's the Blackhawks and they're in Montreal. So I think they get it done pretty easily tonight.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm kind of with you there. Blackhawks allowing the third most high danger chances as well for 60 minutes in the league. Hey, question in chat here, Matty. I'll kick it over to you. We the people, very sharp dude. We love him tuning in each and every show that we do over here on the channel. But you got any thoughts on Jake McCabe there for D-man there?
Yeah, I mean, I think you can always consider Jake McCabe, especially at $3,500. I mean, he's kind of the defensive stalwart for them. He's always out there, and odds of him scoring you a goal are pretty slim. Obviously, we're 48 games into the season, and he's got 2 goals. But, he plays decent minutes. He's probably going to see around 20 minutes. And if he blocks, 3 to 5 shots, I would not be surprised here, certainly because I think the Habs are going to be the aggressors in this one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I tend to agree there. So hopefully that answers your question there. We the people, as always, the show is brought to you by Run Pure Sports. So we bring the show live to you Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays each and every week for free. NBA All-Star break quickly approaching, so we will be here live giving you the winners. All we ask for you is a like button and subscribe down below. Helps us out a ton, so we definitely appreciate that. But rolling right along, we're going to go into another pretty interesting game here, I think, between Washington and Carolina. Carolina heads into Washington to face the Caps here. Carolina, road favorites here, minus 165. Over-under sitting at about 6 here. Carolina implied a little over 3.5 goals as well here. Tanner, what do you see in this game?
Yeah, I think the Hurricanes come in and stick it to them. I mean, the Capitals have struggled to score lately. They're averaging just over a goal a game in their last 5, and now Ovi's not there. So, I mean, the Hurricanes are going to be – Brendan Moore's going to have that team coming out of the gate flying against the Capitals after the 6-2 beat down even 4-2 if you take away everyone else's goals but Panarin that the Rangers gave on them. So, I think they come out hot. I think they definitely – get the win there. I like the puck line on that, minus 1.5 or plus 155. I mean, I don't trust Hurricanes goaltending by any means, but without Ovi in the lineup, it just deals such a huge blow to their goal scoring. So I really like that a lot. I even think you can go towards the first period puck line for the Hurricanes. Like I said, after being embarrassed like that, I think they just come out of the gates hot. It's plus 155. Probably not my favorite play of this game, just because the Hurricanes, you never know with them. They do play a very defense-first style of hockey, but I think after how everything went Saturday, plus 155 first period, they're just going to come out flying and stick it to the Capitals.
Yeah, no, I can't fault you for that. Looking at my matchups, I mean, Carolina expected goals against is the best on the slate. Actual goals against last 5 is the second best on the slate. Washington's not scoring on the other end at home. So I definitely think Carolina kind of handles them here pretty easily. I'll kick it over to you, Matty. You got Sebastian Aho, 6,500. You got Turbo, who's cheap. Naka, Svech, Kanemi I think he scored last game or the game before, right? I saw his name pop up there. What do you got for interest in this one?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much interest in the Caps here. You know, that the lineup just looks so damn bland without Ovi in it. You know, as Tanner said, they're just not scoring right now. You know, it's tough for me to want to play them. If I was taking a shot on anybody tonight on the Caps, it would probably be Anthony Mantha. You know, he kind of runs hot and cold. He's really about it that I'm willing to take a shot on their team, and that's really if I just landed there. It's not like I'm trying to prioritize him. I think the Canes come in here and beat up on him. You know, I like the top line of Sebastian Aho and Turbo. You know, I think you can take shots on Svech and Nakas as well. I think this is like an interesting slaughter stack if you're playing in like a big, you know, large field GPP. It's not something – I'm not prioritizing any of these guys in like single entry stuff or cash games because I could see this being a 4-0 Canes game. You know, like I think Washington's really going to struggle, but the Canes have enough firepower here where, you know, in a large field GPP, something like that, you could build like a power play stack where you go Aho, Turbo, Svech, and you know Brady Shea or something like that. But you know, DFS perspective, I just don't have a ton of interest in this game. I like other games a lot better on this slate, so I'm not going to try to force them. Like I said, outside of playing in like a large field GPP, I don't have a ton of interest here.
Yeah, no, I definitely kind of agree here. I think Carolina makes an interesting stack and like that $19 Hockey World Championship qualifier. It's a pretty sizable field there, $19. Hope to get you a seat out there in Denver, join our guy Jared, and I'll actually be out there for the NBA final, which is kind of crazy. So hoping to try and at least snag a hockey final as well to make it a full fun-filled weekend out there. But I think they make an interesting stack for a larger field, maybe that $15 kind of take a stab, right? They can have upside, but I do think it plays kind of slow, to be honest with you. I think Carolina, after coming off that beat down by the Rangers, come in here and just try and right the ship, right, and just play their defensive hockey style. If they got a 3-0, 2-0 lead kind of thing, just kind of do more hit checking and just kind of slow it down. So I definitely think the Canes handle them pretty easily. These price tags are decently fair for the upside that they have, but again, they're so deep they can score from any line, so it does make it tough on the DFS side for me. Let's jump right along here into another pretty interesting game. We were talking pre-show here, Matty. Next game on my docket here is the Columbus Blue Jackets hosting the New Jersey Devils here. New Jersey, pretty heavy road favorite here. Over under of 6.5. Columbus plus 175 at home here. Taking on the Jack Hughes-less New Jersey Devils here. What are your thoughts, Matty? I'll kick it over to you.
Yeah, I think this one could be a sneaky game, to be honest with you. You know, Jersey's proven all year that they can score goals. Obviously, they haven't been nearly as efficient without Hughes on the ice. But you know, Nico Heischer's cheap. He's $6,300. You know, Columbus is 30th in fantasy points given up to center. You got Palat, who's been playing well since he got bumped to the top power play and top line. And I don't hate some of these pieces on Columbus, you know, to be honest with you either. You know, Boone Jenner's, you know, got a decent price. He's played extremely well at home this year. He's almost averaging a point per game for as bad as they were to start the season. They took Patrick Laine off the top line and moved Kirill Marchenko up there. The kid is uber talented, has just a rifle of a shot. He's $4,500. You know, he's been playing well. He's got 5 goals in his last 10 games. I just have not been overly impressed with the Devils recently. So, you know, when you're looking for, you know, some place to get different tonight, because in my opinion, we'll get to some of these games later. I think we have a lot of playoff style matchups tonight. You know, we have Dallas and Boston. We got Colorado and Tampa. You know, we have the Canes in Washington, who are just never really sexy DFS picks. You know, when you're looking for some place to get different tonight, I think this is a spot you could look at. You know, very similar to the Canes in like a large field GPP where nobody's going to play Boone Jenner. Nobody's going to play Kirill Marchenko. And I think they have goal scoring upside in this game, especially being at home with last change where they can kind of dictate what they want to do. If they can get that Corrali line to kind of slow down the Heischer line, it should open some stuff up for that top line of Boone, Johnny, and Marchenko.
Yeah, no, excellent breakdown there. I tend to agree here, and even looking at the underlying metrics here in like things like expected goals, we're seeing the expected goals start to tick up here, and we're seeing the actual goals against for these Devils obviously follow that same trend. So I do think that Columbus can snag some goals here. Tanner, are you gonna sprinkle on that almost 2-1 money line there for Columbus? Do you have a saves prop in this one? What are we looking at for bets?
I do think the Devils take it here. I mean, like you said, Gavrikov is now being scratched as far as the trade rumors and stuff like that. So they're just so thin defensively. And I know Hughes is out, and that really sucks for the Devils. He's the driving force behind everything they do. But I do think they get there. Like you said, I don't like how heavy of a favorite the Devils are. -205 really just isn't exciting. And I don't trust the puck line. Like you said, I do think we see some goals here. So I think you can, if you want to, you're getting even money for over 6.5. I don't mind that at all. The Devils, I know Vanacek's in that, and he's been the better of their goaltending, but they're still allowing over 3 goals against. And Columbus can get it done, especially with that second change. I think they can get Marchenko and Boone Jenner out there and get some scoring opportunities for those guys. But one guy I did want to bring up, you mentioned Andre Palat. He's playing fantastic since he got bumped to that first line. And I do think Columbus does try to avoid the Boone Jenner line with that top line. So I think they're going to get a better matchup. And he's plus 250 on FanDuel as a goal scorer. He's scored 3 goals in 3 games against them this year. He had 2 in the first game, 1 in their second game. He got the goose egg in the game before that. But I just think this is a good spot for him. I mean, Columbus does give up just a ton of shots. Right now they're averaging a little over 33, which I know isn't a crazy amount, but I do like that. His goal prop as far as the value there for a guy getting top power play and top line minutes. So that's definitely where I'm going on that. But as far as just outright game, I really like the over for over 6.5. You're getting even money on that. So I definitely think we see some goals tonight.
Yeah, no, I like that angle. It's gone over in majority of their last meetings. Obviously the first meeting here was 7-1, kind of routing. That Jersey laid it on Columbus here, but Columbus is started to come along. Kirill 3.0, whatever you want to call him here, is starting to play good, and he's very talented. He's kind of making a name for himself out there, right? And running, got the top bump, playing next to Johnny Hockey and Boone Jenner. So I like him quite a bit. That's a pretty good value tag there. That top line for kind of echoing what Matty said, that top line for Columbus is pretty reasonable. I do think we do see some goals here. So I definitely like that over. One guy I did want to hit on New Jersey. Dougie Hamilton, no surprise. Everyone in the league can pull up his game log and see that he dropped over 30 in like the last 6 games outside of playing Minnesota. He's averaging right around 25 DraftKings points in his last 5. I can't play 7,600 tonight here for Dougie Hamilton. I just can't do it. If it burns me, it burns me. But I side a little bit more towards the Blues here too. So it takes a lot for him to pay off that price tag, especially on a 9-game slate. I typically like to either correlate my D-men or find some more mid-tier value guys and pay up to the wings and centers like we talk about a lot. We the people did bring up Eric Halla. He is going to slot into that second line center and then get the second power play run as well, it does look like. So I do think that's a decent value there. And Palat and Bratt make a pretty cheap stack there if you do like Jersey. I do think we see goals on both sides, so I wouldn't fault anyone. But nobody is going to play Columbus outside of probably RPS and anyone that's watching the show. So I do give the nod to Columbus in terms of DFS production here. Moving right along, we're going to go over to Mr. Bo Horvat and the New York Islanders hosting Ottawa Senators. New York Islanders -215 favorite here, over under sitting at about 6. implied goal total here for the Islanders, sitting over 4 goals. We talked a little bit about pre-show. These Islanders they got Bowen talent, right? And they're buzzing. They're starting to play better hockey. They're starting to finally score and not be the boring defensive Islanders team that we're also definitely have seen for the last couple years for sure.
Where are all the haters at who said this was a terrible trade?
Right. I know you and I were kind of in our own corner, and the rest of the Discord was against us. But I definitely seen it. I mean, you add a guy like Bo Horvat, right? That's got 30 goals on the season at the All-Star break. It's not going to hurt your scoring. I don't care who you say. But I do think the Islanders make some sense here tonight, Matty. What are your thoughts here?
Yeah. The Sens are coming in off a back-to-back. They blew a ton of energy at the end of that game, tying it up and winning it in OT. All the time, teams win like that. I would expect them to come out flat in the first period. Obviously, you can go right back to this top line for the Islanders of Bo Horvat and Matthew Barzal. They've been fantastic. But I like Brock Nelson, Anders Lee, and Kyle Palmieri just a little bit more at the discount. The Islanders can, still Islander. I'm not going to say they're going to sit here and score 5 goals every night, but they've been much better since Bo's in town. But I do prefer other spend-ups tonight. So going with Brock Nelson and Anders Lee, who are, still getting a ton of run, top power play minutes, they're going to see 20 minutes a game. Those are kind of what I'm looking at tonight. If I do go to Ottawa at all, or you're looking for a run back, I would probably go to that second line for the Sens tonight. I would, and specifically Alex DeBrincat. He's starting to heat up a little bit. He's a little bit streaky. He scored last night. He had been kind of in a little slump there for a while, but he's got goals in 3 of his 4 last games. He's playing 17 to 18 minutes. He shoots the puck a ton. That's kind of where I would go. I don't have a ton of interest in the Sens here. Some of the pricing on them is just getting too high for me. I love Timmy Stu, but I don't want to pay $7,000 for him. And, Brady Tkachuk's almost $8,000. I would honestly rather play his brother, who we'll talk about later tonight, against the Blues. So obviously I'm on the Isles. I like Brock Nelson and Anders Lee. I have no issue with Horvat and Barzal either if you have the money, but I would prefer to spend down on Nelson and Lee tonight.
Yeah, no, excellent point. I'm definitely fully aligned with you. We're talking pre-show. I like that New York Islanders second line quite a bit. I don't see how Brock Nelson doesn't at least score 1 goal here. He's got incredible history. He's playing incredible hockey. The lead in this team in shots per game last 5. And he's 5,900. He's under that $6K price point. Palmieri's been great. And Anders Lee, I mean, those top 6 now for the Islanders are pretty rejuvenated, and they're buzzing out there on the ice. One guy on the Ottawa side I did have slight interest in is Claude Giroux. He's got some pretty good history. He is firing the puck when he does get it. He's plus 235 on DraftKings to record a anytime goal there. Is a little worrisome facing Sorokin, but we have seen Sorokin's up and down games this year. Usually if I roster him in DFS, it's the down game. So I will, like always, let Discord know if I'm touching him, but likely don't get to him at 8,400 here. That's just an expensive price tag to pay here in the goalie position. But Tanner, what do you got for bets in this one? Are you kind of on our side with the Islanders here, or do you see something we don't?
No, I'm definitely on your side. I like the Islanders puck line plus 130. I mean, Ottawa's coming off a back-to-back last night. They took them 2 late goals. They sent it to overtime against the Flames yesterday. But a huge thing here for me is goaltending for Ottawa. Their goalie, Kevin Mandolese, I'm not sure if that's a pasta sauce or what, but I just think the Islanders are going to be able to – the goaltending's better – or not goaltending, goal scoring's been their big issue. And, I mean, obviously Horvat has helped with that ever since they brought him in. They've been scoring, not a ton more, but they've been scoring more, and that was just a huge factor for them. With Ottawa being on a back-to-back and some questionable goaltending in net form, I think they can score. It might not be a flashy game, but I could see it being 2-1 all game with a third goal empty netter there for a 3-1 or maybe even 4-1 type. I don't think we see a ton of goals, but I do like that puck line a lot. And yeah, I know you guys want to talk about like Brock Nelson, mentioned him because Ottawa's giving up 11 shots a game to centers. I mean, he's almost plus 200 to score a goal. So I like that one a lot. And again, they brought Bo marble mouth over here. Bo Horvat and to score goals. He's plus 156 to score a goal. So I do think the Islanders do get their fair share of goals here. I don't think they see a ton. I wouldn't be surprised to see them hit that 3-4 goal mark, but I do expect them to win by that, cover that puck line of 1.5. You're getting plus 130 on DraftKings for that.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. They're a pretty easy game in terms. And Jay Reed, I know what you're trying to get me to do here, but yeah, we are not playing the Senators goalie here. So that he's not even in the player pool is what you're saying there. I'm not going to try the pronunciation there. I've learned my lesson. But we will move right along. Again, if you guys do enjoy this content, please drop us a like, subscribe. All of Matty Ice's and my content, which has been pretty solid over the last, actually all season. We've been producing winners, but we're on a good little stretch here. We do provide core plays, playbook, a matchup sheet each and every single day for every hockey slate, even on the weekends. So runpuresports.com does give you access to that if you are not a member. But we do like you guys hanging out here. Just please hit the like button and subscribe if you have not already. But moving along, St. Louis Blues hosting the Florida Panthers as a minus 130 road favorite here, over under a 6.5. And we talked about it pre-show again. This game looks like the ideal game to me on the slate in terms of DFS production here. I'm looking at my matchup sheet, bright green across the board here. Matty Ice, what's your thoughts here on this game?
Yeah, I mean, I think this might be my favorite game stack of the night. People typically don't like to touch teams on a back-to-back, and that was a hard-fought game for the Panthers up in Minnesota last night. That if you watched that game, it was a hell of a game to watch. But the Blues, I don't call them the BLOOS Blues. They have not been impressive, and I think we're going to see a ton of goals here. I love that second line again of Florida tonight with Sam Bennett, Matthew Tkachuk, and Carter Verhaeghe. I have no issue with Alexander Barkov at his price either, $6,400. Any night you give me Sasha Barkov at $6,400, I'll have some interest. I think he's one of the best two-way centers in hockey. On the Blue side, I really like that second line of Jordan Kyrou, Bobby Thomas, and Braden Shen. Their prices are more than reasonable on this slate as well too. I don't think we're going to see Sergei Bobrovsky tonight. I would assume it's going to be what the hell is his name? I can't remember his name now. Spencer Knight. It would be my guess.
Yeah. Nice projected. I'm seeing.
But Bobby Thomas is $4,700. Braden Shen's $4,300. They're getting top 6 run, top power play run. If you're looking to get real spicy tonight, and he's just not somebody that I usually play, Ryan O'Reilly looks to be back. He's $4,200. I would assume they're probably going to line him up against the Sasha line. But I'm going to stick with that second Blues line of Thomas and Shen. I do have a little bit of interest in Torrey Krug as well too. $4,700. In games that kind of open up, he usually tends to find the score sheet. But I think one of my favorite bets tonight is actually going to be Sam Bennett, anytime goal. I see he's plus 300. I really like the spot he's in tonight. The Blues give up a ton of points to centers. I think it's a great spot for Sam Bennett tonight, and I think we see the over in this one. If this game ends up 5-4, I would not be surprised in the slightest.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And actually, their last match was their last game was 5-4 between these two squads. I have slightly more interest in auto parts there. Ryan O'Reilly did come back last game against Arizona, did score. And he was pretty aggressive, actually, returning 3 shots on goal. Usually we've seen these guys come back and kind of just skate around, right, and just be facilitators. But he was firing the puck, did pick up a goal there. So I do like him quite a bit. He's 4,200. Is going to get a little bit of a tougher matchup, but he does have pretty good history against Florida here. And they are on home ice, so they do get to dictate matchup. So if coach is seeing that Buchnevich and Brandon Saad auto parts line with an opportunity to pot a couple of goals, I don't mind that. But yeah, the Jordan Kyrou, this dude has 22 shots on net over his last 5. It's hard to ignore. that kind of production at 7,200 there. So I like that quite a bit. And I think the Panthers, I watched that whole game. Obviously, we both had Minnesota heavy in our cores. Worked out, but it didn't. I mean, it worked out, and they only scored 1 goal. So I just think if they would have scored 2 or 3, what it could have been last night, we probably would have shipped everything on the site. Overall,
that save Bob Borowski made on Spurgeon
in overtime, in overtime was his whole body was far side post, and he glove saves it near side. I was shaking my head. I was watching it, and obviously because we were heavily invested in Minnesota, and then Bob Stone's dollar bill in the shootout as well. So yeah, Bob definitely stood on his head last night. Bravo for him. But I do think Florida comes in, and they did win last night, but I mean Gustav played incredible as well, and they could have had a lot more goals than what they did last night. So I definitely think the way they're firing the puck, I mean, they're the second best road scoring team in the league. Expected goals, they're 4th best road scoring team in the league as well. So I do think it bodes pretty well for the Panthers here to come in and play well. And it starts with that second line. I'm fully in lockstep with you, Chucky. There at 8,400. I think he's got a lot of upside. We've seen, obviously, he had a great All-Star game there and played great returning back, first game back from the All-Star break, shooting right around 5 to 6 times per game, which gives you a pretty solid floor, right, at that 8,400 price tag with a lot of upside there. So I like that quite a bit. And then Aaron Ekblad is going to be probably one of my favorite D-men's on the slate at 5,700. St. Louis isn't great against D-men. He is going to run point on that top power play in a very favorable matchup. St. Louis gives up the 6th most penalties in the league on home ice and only kills off about 80%. And Florida has the best road power play in the league. So I definitely like that quite a bit. But that's a lot of DFS takes. Tanner, what do you got for us for bets?
Yeah, I think we see a ton of goals here. Like I said, last game was 5-4. So I do think Florida wins. It's just always tough to know what Binnington you're going to get, whether it's going to be the snap show who's trying to take guys' heads off or, Game 7 of the Cup Finals against the Bruins there. You just never know with him. So I do give the edge to the Panthers there, but whatever side you're leaning on, if you wanted a same-game parlay, the over 5.5 with either team, you're getting plus money for that. So if you do like St. Louis on home ice, you can get them at plus 200 with the over 5.5. Or if you like the Panthers like I do, you can get it plus 145. So I do like the over of regular 6.5. It's just a nice way to get a little extra juice involved there by throwing in whatever side you lean with for the winners there. I did have Sam Bennett highlighted. I do like that line in general. As far as goal scorers, I like to go towards like for Hagee and Bennett just because with Tkachuk, you're getting minus 105, and I just don't like – I need a plus sign next to a goal scoring prop. So I think that's a good way to get off him and get a little bit more juice there. And in a game that I expect to shoot, I do like them a lot. But you mentioned Torrey Krug on the Blues side. He's plus 110 just to record a point. So in a game that is 5-4, something like that, plus money on the top D guy there, I think that's more than enough of a payout for someone like that. So I really like that play a lot.
I actually had that written down as well.
Yeah, so no, definitely like those takes. Torrey Krug can always get it done too, and he's pretty cheap there on the D side as well for fantasy. So I like that quite a bit. Got 4 games left on the slate here. Next one on the docket for me is Bobby Boom's Winnipeg Jets hosting Seattle Kraken here in Winnipeg. Winnipeg minus 145, over under sitting at 6, implied team total about 3.5 for Winnipeg. I think this is a better real life hockey game than a DFS game. But Matty, what are you seeing here?
Yeah, this is an interesting one. The news out of Winnipeg today is that Connor Hellebuck is sick, and they don't know if he's going to start. So we have some unknowns. I would build your lineups assuming that David Ritchie is going to start. I mean, that's all you can do. Seattle's getting Matty Beaners back. If Ritchie starts this game, I think this could be a real sneaky game. Seattle's kind of been slumping a little bit lately, but I think they just have too much damn talent, to keep going down that road. If I was playing them, it would be this top line of Matty Beaners and Jared McCann. I might be one of the biggest Jared McCann stands on the planet. I think the guy's just a phenomenal hockey player and literally gets absolutely no respect around the league outside of pure hockey guys. On the Winnipeg side, it's pretty simple. You know who's scoring over there. It's Kyle Connor, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Mark Scheifele, Nikolai Ehlers, and Josh Morrissey. Josh Morrissey. I look at that top power play for the Jets, and that's where I'm kind of looking there. I'm not forcing any of these guys tonight in this game. I do think it's interesting, and maybe I'll get to them after I build a little bit more. With it being Valentine's Day and stuff, I've been doing a lot of running around today, so I'm not sure how much I end up with this game, but I do slightly lean the Jets at home. I would feel a lot more. I'd feel a lot better about it if I knew Helly was going to be in net. But that's just something we're going to have to play by ear here because I just haven't seen any definitive answer one way or another who's going to start net tonight.
Yeah, no, I totally agree here with you. I covered this one in the playbook here, and I did write up that top power play for Winnipeg. I mean, Seattle's penalty kill over the last 6 games on the road is sitting at near 50%, 53%. So if the Jets do get on the penalty, I can see a goal or 2 coming here. The only issue is Seattle is pretty disciplined in terms of staying out of the box, but that can change in the blink of an eye, especially on home ice here. So if they do get out there, I do like that. If I was targeting Winnipeg, it would be Mark Scheifele. Is probably my favorite at 6K on that team, just because you get a discount off of Kyle Connor and Ehlers and PLD and those guys. And Josh Morrissey, I mean, it's hard to argue what this dude's been doing all year. He's gunning for that defensive man of the year there for the offensive D-men, that award there. So I like him quite a bit. He's 6,200 as well. I don't know. I haven't built any teams yet. I don't know if typically I don't like paying up for D-men, but it's hard to ignore. And if you are stacking that power play, it's hard to leave him off because he does.
Why does that man get no respect either? He's another one.
I don't get it. I really don't get it. He's one of the most underrated players in the league. And I mean, he should win that trophy. If I was deciding, he should win that trophy for sure. And he still might, right? So that's
it's just like I look at DraftKings every night, and don't get me wrong, I love Thomas Chabot. He's one of my favorite D-men. But that man's got 29 points in 47 games, and you got Morrissey who's got 55 in 53 games. And he's always priced more than him. I don't understand. It makes no sense to me whatsoever.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me either. That 6,200 price tag is very fair for his upside and his production. And like I said, if they do get on that power play, and if I'm stacking that power play, I'm definitely including him. He does run that point, the quarterback there for that power play. So I like that quite a bit. On the Seattle side, I definitely like that top line the most from Seattle. Only issue is they're slumping pretty big, but they could get rejuvenated here with Matty B joining the lineup again. He's the odds-on favorite to win Rookie of the Year as well, so he's going to look into close out this year strong as well. I don't think he has much competition, but definitely still needs to kind of button it up and play well the rest of the year. And Seattle's making a push, right? They want to make some noise. They're going to make the playoffs, and I think they can definitely make some noise, but they have to right the ship here. They're kind of slumping a little bit. Tanner, what do you got for bets for us?
This is a tough one for me as far as picking the winner here. Without Connor Hellebuck, I just never know with the Jets. I think David Riddick is a trash can with skates attached. He's just not very good. In Seattle, they do shoot a decent amount, and I always talk about how they can just come at you wave after wave. So it's a tough team to defend against. So I really have a hard time. If he is out, I don't mind Seattle here. Plus 110 is the road dogs. I know the Jets are one of my favorite teams on home ice, but Hellebuck is a huge reason for that. He's just such a good goaltender. But I did want to go over to the Jets power play like you were mentioning here. I mean, Mark Scheifele, or Kyle Connor, anytime the Jets are going to be scoring goals, Kyle Connor is usually the guy leading them to do it. He's plus 134 to score. He's one of the guys you always have to mention. And Mark Scheifele, another one, plus 156 on that power play. I just think some of those guys, if they get clicking, like you said, Seattle's power play has just been atrocious at 53% lately. They don't take many penalties, but when they do, you can almost guarantee a goal. So I definitely think that's where I'd go just to get a little extra juice here between Connor and Scheifele. But beyond that, I wasn't a big fan of this game. Just without Hellebuck, it kind of makes it difficult tell for me.
Yeah, no, I definitely tend to agree. And got to highlight our guy Peter here in chat. Smash that like button. Definitely appreciate that there. And Jay Reed says, Tanner, you're the MVP for Pronunciation King. So bravo for that.
What do you want from me,
I mean, it's not hard to be the MVP here.
My lips the goddamn size of a fucking golf ball, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, I mean, I think your second calling of an English professor is coming, so you might want to start tidying up your resume a little bit. And Jay Reed will be your biggest fan there. But moving right along here, we got Nuggets, Boston Bruins. Our guy Nuggets in chat there strokes Boston more than anyone. I think every main slate he's always going to have a Boston stack, and then it's voted pretty well all year long, right? I mean they have over 200 goals on the year, but they are heading into Dallas here to face our guy VIP and the Stars. Typically he only plays NHL DFS when the Stars are on the slate, so he can play the Stars, but I don't know if that's going to bode well here on the 9-game slate with a 5.5 total of these two hockey teams here. I definitely think this is a very, very good real-life hockey game, but from DFS perspective, especially at these price tags, I don't know how much interest I have in this game in general, but Matty, do you see anything here?
I'm going to keep this one short and sweet, guys. I don't have any interest in this game whatsoever from a DFS side. Unless you're going to, one off a stud like a Pasternak or a Robertson or something of that sort. I think this is going to be a defensive hockey game. I think it's going to be a great hockey game, but it's not something I'm going to spend my hard-earned money on in DFS tonight. I think you can consider Allmark. I think you consider Ottinger. Like I said, I think it's going to be a great hockey game. I can't wait to sit down and actually watch this one tonight, but I just don't have a ton of interest here from the DFS side of things.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely in lockstep with you. And our guy Nuggets right there, he's the biggest Bruins homer, but not tonight. So even he knows. And I think he's played Boston on every main slate known to man this year. So if he's off it, that's pretty telling to me. Granted, this game probably blows up for 12 goals tonight just because everyone's off of it. But I do think both goalies here are in play. I do slightly side with Dallas here at home. I know it's going to break our guy's heart there, but looking at my numbers, Dallas just has the better defensive numbers as of late in terms of at home. And Boston has been slightly leaky on the road. So I do think that, and you're getting a decent discount there at 7,500 for Ottinger in a game where he's still going to get peppered. Boston still fires the puck, and he's a pretty good goaltender, I think, in general. And if he can sneak out with the win, I don't mind that at all at 7,500. From DFS, I wanted to write up fade in every spot in the playbook here just because I don't love any of these guys. If you want to play anyone, I mean, a guy like Jamie Benn does get top power play run, does get that third line, so he does get slightly better matchup, but no matchup against Boston is easy. He does have some upside. But these other guys, price tags, I just can't pay these prices in this game. So pretty short and sweet for me. Tanner, what do you got for me?
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great game to watch, but it's just a tough call. I do lean a bit towards the Stars just being on home ice, but I think if anything, you can take the under here, but I just hate these 5.5 unders because they always seem to pop. But yeah, I think we get like a 2-1, 3-1 style playoff game here. I mean, it's two teams that can lock things down defensively. I mean, if they were in Boston, I think you'd have to give it to Boston, but being in Dallas, I think they can get it done, but you just never know. So I really don't have any interest in taking anything here. I mean, maybe Ottinger's save prop right now, it's at 27.5. You get minus 125 on that. That's about the only place I'd even like consider looking here. It's just, yeah, usually when games are a really good real life game, there's just usually not a whole lot there from the betting side of things.
It's bizarre. I can't remember a game that I've been this excited to watch that I wanted to actually have nobody on my DFS.
Yeah. I don't want any part of this. I just want to watch it.
Yeah, I totally agree. I wrote that up in the playbook as well. Definitely one of those hockey games you want to sit down, pour a nice glass of bourbon, and kick back and watch some playoff hockey because it's likely we see possibly see this rematch here. Going to take a lot from the Star side to get the rematch, but obviously Boston's the far and away favorite on their side to make the cut for sure. So Nuggets should be celebrating pretty good there. 2 games left on the slate. Next game, Colorado hosting Tampa Bay Lightning here. Colorado home dogs here, plus 105 I'm seeing. 6 total. Implied team total for Tampa sitting about 3.5 goals or 3.2 goals. I kind of side with Colorado here. I saw Lankinen did have maintenance this morning, right? Didn't morning skate, but he is going to be in the lineup, which is good there. I kind of like Colorado quite a bit in terms of a high upside stack here on the slate. But Matty, what are you seeing?
Yeah, I like the Avs here. I'm actually kind of surprised that the Bolts are favored on the road. Colorado's starting to get, slowly a little more healthy. Lankinen and Nishushkin were both maintenance days, but coach said both of them are going to play. Traveling from South Florida to Mile High is not an easy trip for these athletes, as we've seen numerous times. Obviously, Makar being out is big. He's one of the best D-men in the league, but don't sleep on Devon Toes. The guy's an absolute stud. And I really like Alexander Gorgiev in net tonight on DraftKings for the Avs. In this one, I was looking earlier. What did I do with it? I was looking at an anytime goal from McKinnon with the plus money on the Avs money line, and it was actually a pretty nice little positive payout there. But I like the Avs here. I don't have a ton of interest in Tampa Bay here. They just don't excite me. Usually I'm all about the Bolts, or I'm throwing a Ross Colton nugget out there or something of that sorts. But after the NHL All-Star break and everything getting back into the swing of things here, I expect the Avalanche to take care of business on home ice tonight.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree there as well. I was just kind of trying to run this little same game parlay that you had. So Nathan McKinnon anytime goal and Colorado to win. Colorado money line is plus 220 on DraftKings, which is a pretty solid payout there. Basically, just you have to imagine if Avs do win, or more times than not, right? The Avs are going to win. It's McKinnon's going to be involved. So I definitely like that quite a bit. And yeah, I mean, I'm totally there. Devon Toes, 4,600 running point on the top power play, top line with Makar out. I think that is an extremely good value. And if I am stacking the Avs, you better believe he's being included in it. The Avs have the second best power play on home ice, sitting at 40%. Tampa's road penalty kill is sitting under 80%. They give up the 5th most penalties. So everything on my sheet here that I post for members screams Colorado smash here. And I tend to agree. I definitely like Colorado quite a bit, and I really don't see how much ownership they're going to get here on this slate, to be honest with you. So that makes me like them even a little bit more. And I'm not sure why they're home dogs. I can't believe that. Tanner, what are you seeing? What do you like in this game?
The same thing. I don't get why they're home dogs right now. I mean, they're just playing so well. I know if you guys missed morning skate here, but that was due to maintenance, they said. I know no Makar, but yeah, Devon Toews is a fantastic player all around. They have so many other D guys. I mean, Sam Girard can step up and play when he needs to. He's on that second power play, but I do like them a lot. Again, plus 105 money line. I do like that. One guy I wanted to highlight is Evan Rodriguez. He shoots the puck a ton. I really like that second line tonight with him, Rantanen, and I think it's JT Compher. I think they're going to get a great matchup. It looks like the Lightning put together that first line again with all the big dogs with Stamkos, Kuch, and Point. So I think they're going to put the McKinnon line on them, and that's going to leave Rantanen and Erod a lot of open ice to skate with. You're not getting a ton of juice for an Erod shot prop here. It's over 2.5 minus 182, but I think you can toss that in the shot prop parlay for a little extra added there. So I do like that a lot. And back to Rantanen, you're getting plus 104 for him as a goal scorer. The guy just scores goals. And like I said, I think the second line is going to have a field day tonight, and I really like that. Tampa's not very good on the road lately. They're averaging over 4 goals against. I mean, they give up almost 40 shots in their last couple of games. Colorado on home ice, again, don't understand why they're home dogs. I think they're going to stick it to them tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, you think of Tampa, right, and you don't think of a terrible defensive team, right? Obviously, they've had their successes, and Baz isn't the same Baz that he has been, right? But for their expected goals to be just as bad as their actual goals, just tells you that this team is not the same, especially on the road. So I definitely like the Avs quite a bit here. And that brings us to the last game on the slate here, and it's your boys, Tanner, heading into San Jose to face the Sharks. And your boys are minus 160 road favorites here. Over under sitting at 6.5 for the Penguins game here. Pens do have an implied goal total of close to 4 goals at 3.9 here. I'll kick it over to you. That yellow tank top there, a little stained. Might be a little stained from the Sharks kind of biting your Penguins here a little bit. But what are you thinking here?
I think we see a ton of goals here anytime the Penguins are on the road, especially against a team that can. So I know the Sharks aren't what you think of when you think of goals, but they can score, especially the top guys like Timo and all that. And I think that Timo line targets against that Gino line just because they don't play defense. And I think they're going to do what they can to open up the ice for them. And I really think that, let me see, I'm pulling the lines up right here. I want to make sure. Yeah, that Logan Couture line, I think that's the line that's going to end up on Sid. Just because I think Couture's a little bit better defensively, so I like them. I think that they're gonna I think they're gonna do what they can to take Sid out of the game, but it's easier said than done. But yeah, I really do like Timo and all them just because they're gonna be up against that Gino line, and we've seen them play defense the last few games. It's non-existent. I really like them with Jari in that. I really liked them. I don't know if I got quite to the puck line, maybe like a regulation win, but with the Smith in that, it's just so tough to say. They give up so many shots, and he's been okay at times, but it's just so hard to know what team you're going to get from them. They went into Anaheim and pumped them 6-0, and then immediately got the tables turned around and got pumped 6-0 by the Kings. So tough to say with them, but with the over at 6.5, minus 125, I think we see that for sure tonight. It's just the Penguins on the road, it's overs every time.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree. Matty Ice, what's your thoughts here in this game?
Yeah, I think this is going to end up being a fun one. We were kind of waiting to see who was going to be in net for the Penguins. We did find out it's going to be Casey DeShit just before we got on the show here. I think you can make cases for either side here. Obviously, Jake Gensel at 7,100, I like quite a bit. I don't know that I go to Sid tonight. If I do play the Pens, I'm probably going to go take the discount and go down to Malkin. Even though he hurts my soul watching him play hockey because he plays zero defense, I like the $1,300 price discount tonight. And then obviously Chris Letang, he's $5,500. Sharks have been absolutely trash against D-men all year long. I don't think you can discount him. On the Sharks side of things, obviously I think it's Hurdle, Timo, and Carlson. They've been the big trio all year long. One thing I would say, and we're seeing it with a lot of teams, is I think we really need to start watching these. We're seeing it with even scrub guys like Gavrikov. If they're going to move Timo or move Carlson, we could start getting into situations where those guys sit. Now, I think we would probably have a good idea that that's going to happen. But if something was getting close, late at night, you could certainly see those guys be a scratch. One other guy I do want to mention for the Sharks is Nick Bonino. They moved him up to the top line with Hurdle and Mir. He's dirt cheap on DraftKings. Let me see what I got here. He's $3,200. I mean, they've been kind of experimenting with different right wingers on that line for the last couple of weeks here. They've had Noah Grigor on it. They've had LeBanc, who they've continued to scratch. But Bonino's a pretty good player. He started off real slow this year. But he's been playing good hockey over the last couple months, so I wouldn't mind taking a shot at him. He's still going to be on the second unit, power play. They ain't going to bump him up to that top one, but I think it's the usual suspects we're looking at this one. I think we see a bunch of goals, kind of a late night hammer, game stack.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree, and I like the Sharks in this one. I just think Timo is going to get whatever matchup he wants, and it's likely going to be that Malkin line that literally can't stop anything. They are the definition of Swiss cheese.
I want to ask you, though, Nate, did you see who's in net for the Sharks tonight?
Yeah, I did. Mr. Aaron Dell is going to be in net. It's a little scary. But I mean, the shits is also in that for the Pens here too. So overall, I think both backup tenders here in that. I mean, backup for the Sharks, right? I think, but
Yeah.
I still something's telling me the Sharks take it to the Pens here. I had a nice little anytime goal here, but it kind of frustrates me that Bonino is going to slide up into that top line. I was going to go with Noah Gregor there, or Grieger. He's got 15 shots over his last 5 games and a goal. If he was still skating with Timo, I would like it even more. But hey, maybe if this experiment doesn't work, right, they put him back up there. He's plus 440 on FanDuel to score a goal. Is playing very good hockey right now, and he's averaging over 3 shots per game. And he's super cheap, so I don't mind him. Obviously, Timo Meier, EK there, Erik Karlsson, and Thomas Hertl. It's hard to go wrong with that 3-man stack. Obviously, they all have power play correlation as well. And if the Sharks do get on the power play, I mean, look out, because they are going to score. The Penguins' penalty kill is the second worst in the league at 61%. They give up almost 4 penalties per game. So I definitely think there's a lot of goals here, because on the flip side, I mean, especially with Aaron Dell in that for the Sharks, their numbers already weren't great at home. But one call out I did see, the reason I give the edge a little bit to the Sharks, just numbers wise, is their expected goals is significantly lower than what their actual goals against. So could be a little bit of bad puck luck there. So I'll take my chances at plus money at home against Casey DeSmith. So I do like the Sharks, and you can parlay that on DraftKings with San Jose Sharks money line and Timo Meier to score plus 245. And if you really want to get crazy, that Noah Grigor and Sharks to win is plus 850. So I don't mind a little sprinkle at something like that. But that will do it for our show. We will roll into our best bets, best stacks of the day. As always, please drop a like and subscribe if you have not already. But I will kick it over to Tanner. Tanner, what's your best bet?
My best one right now is the Canadians to win, parlayed with the over 5.5, and that you get plus 165 on DraftKings for that. I really like that. I think we see some goals tonight. As far as goal scorers, though, same game. Harvey Pinard is a goal scorer. He's playing great. Plus 320, I just think is a fantastic payout for a guy playing the way he is in a game that I expect to see some goals in. Yeah, great play for sure. Matty Ice, best bet, and then your top stack of the day.
Yeah, best bet. I am going to go with the Nathan McKinnon anytime goal with the Avs to win plus 220. And then for a spicy one, I'm going to give you guys a Nick Bonino anytime goal plus 400.
I like it. Yeah, definitely.
Those have been hot lately too, the Matty Ice specials.
Yeah, hey. Definitely like that quite a bit. I am going to make mine real quick. Hold on. But I will tell you, it is going to be New York Islanders to win and Mr. Brock Nelson to score. Let me get you the odds here. Brock Nelson, anytime. Islanders to win, and Brock Nelson pays out plus 225. So I definitely like that quite a bit. We talked about the Islanders pretty in depth earlier in the show, so I like them. Definitely one of the sneakier stacks, but again, it is still the Islanders. My top stack of the day is actually going to come from that last game that we talked about before this one. It's going to be the Avs. I think the Avs handle this Tampa squad pretty easily here. Correlates well with Matty's best bet there. I just think they stick it to Tampa here, and they tuck Vaz into bed, as our guy Joda likes to say in chat. But that is going to do it for NHL Front and Center Ice presented by Run Pure Sports. As always, we appreciate you guys hanging out. Core Plays Playbook will be live here shortly. Any questions, feel free to head over to the Discord and drop them in chat. But for Tanner, for Matty Ice, I'm Nate Defy. Good luck, everybody.